Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your week been? It feels like it's been forever since I made a video, but I literally posted something literally 2 days ago. We are going to, in fact, ignore the fact that both the intro and outro of this video are filmed in the same outfit. So for this video, I talk a lot about how I kind of got back into my reader era back like in the spring of 2022. Well, but I was also a big, huge bookworm when I was little, when I was young. Probably until I was about like in 5th grade. It was one of those things that like once you got into school and they started requiring you to read books for school, it made like reading for fun not really sound appealing anymore. Which is so unfortunate because as you can see, I love to read. And so the fact that like school has the ability to like make you hate something that you genuinely enjoy is like a really sad thing. But so I didn't really read any traditionally published. I got into Wattpad when I was in the 6th grade and then kind of read that for like 9 years-ish, and like that was all I read. So I wasn't really reading any traditionally published books, and so this means I missed like the peak literature time of like 2011 to 2015. So I thought it would be really fun this week to read some books that people absolutely loved that came out during that era. So we had 3 books. The first one, it's We Were Liars. Then the next one, Fangirl by Rowell, and the last one was Matched by Condie. So here are some clips of me reading the books. Why does Ren like hate her family? Because like she low-key does. I have a couple things. Number one, anytime anybody calls her by her whole name, Cather, sounds like they're saying catheter. So I'm like, why in the world would you name your kid Cather? You should have just named her Kath and left it at that. And number 2, what was number 2? I don't remember. Why in the world would you name your kid Cather? That's awful. It's terrible. I'm not gonna lie, that was a really unsatisfying ending to that book. I did not like that ending. It was severely lacking. Whatever. Now to start Matched. But I honestly have zero idea what this book is about. So, it's gonna be interesting. Honestly, okay, so my initial thoughts on Matched are I'm almost 30% of the way through it. And I'd love to imagine that I would be like one of those people that's gonna like save the world in like a dystopian fiction. But honestly, I probably wouldn't. So I finished Matched, and honestly, it was all right. And so I didn't really like it all that much. But one thing I am seeing like in a pattern in books that I've been reading recently, because I saw it in Matched, I saw it in Fourth Wing, maybe it was Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Yeah, Matched, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and Fourth Wing. Just how easy it is for people to erase history, and how easy it would be for us to get to that point where somebody was able to erase history like that, which is kind of crazy. So I'd say maybe a 3 stars. I feel like that's being a little bit generous. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I found incredibly unrealistic about this book, and it's probably not what you think. It's that Cassia claims to have never had any feelings for her guy best friend.
when she was growing up. And I feel like in that age, you can't really say there was never a time when you like had a tiny little thought about it. Like what would happen? What would it look like? So yeah, that was Matched. It was a really quick read. Like I would pick it up and I'd feel like I'd read for 20 minutes and then I'd look and I'd read 50 pages. Like the pages flew by. But also I think I just read a lot faster on my Kindle because I like to turn the page numbers off because otherwise I'd just be watching the page numbers go by. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How'd you like those clips? We're back again. So the first book I read was We Were Liars by Lockhart, and I didn't really record that much. I genuinely find that I enjoy going into books completely blind on like what's going on, what's happening, you know, because I feel like even like a plot summary that they put on the back of the book kind of like spoils the book for you a little bit, even though they often don't really talk about like big plot points of the book. So I had no idea what I was getting into going into this book. Had no idea what the title meant, had no idea anything that was going on. Didn't even know the main character's name. And so the whole time I'm just like going along, until I got to the plot twist. I was sitting in the airport and I was like, what? Now, if you've read this book, you know what I'm talking about. But I was like, and I'm sure if I went back and read it, there would be some things that alluded to the plot twist. But like I said in my video I posted a couple days ago, my November wrap up, I think for some reason, I just often find myself with like 0 thoughts in my brain, like no thoughts behind these eyes. And I just don't analyze books in that way when I'm like reading them for some reason. So when people are like, oh my gosh, I saw that plot twist coming, there's a 100% chance that I had no idea. So I am always like taken completely off guard by like plot twists like that. And so I'm sitting in the airport like, I gave that one 4 stars. I really enjoyed that one. It was very good. Then the next one that I read was Fangirl by Rowell, and I had heard about this one before. I didn't really know, again, I really didn't know what I was about, but I have a distinct memory of my best friend at the time reading this about the time that it came out. Then I'm starting to read it and I'm like, what in the world were you doing reading this book? You were like 12. You had no business reading this book. Somebody stop her. Honestly, I didn't really like it. I rated it at 2.5 stars. So honestly, this book was like a general, I would consider it more of like a general fiction with a romance subplot. But the characters just kept making me mad. And I was just like, I just don't understand how you can like be doing that. And so I guess up until I started my college journey, I kind of had a very similar story to Kath. You know, like I read a lot of fan fiction and I spent most of my time on Wattpad and didn't really come out of my room, didn't really have that many friends I hung out with. But then that all changed like once I got to college. Like I started making so many friends, and so just like it's kind of hard for me to wrap my brain around Kath's mindset in this book, since I am able to empathize so much with how she was before college. It's kind of hard for me to empathize more with her current like college journey from the first half of the book. So it irritated me a little bit. So Fangirl is about this girl named Kath, and she loves this like fantasy series that's like made up in the book about this character named Simon Snow, and like she writes fan fiction about Simon Snow. And so the end of each chapter would have like a little snippet either from the like real Simon Snow books or from like various fan fictions that she's written either by herself or with her twin sister. And I was just, and they often often wouldn't have any connection to what was happening in the chapter, and I just found it quite boring. I felt that there was no need to add those parts into the book. And the last book that I read in the series, I was very excited about, but was a little bit underwhelmed. Matched by Condie, because this came out during like peak dystopian society like era, and I have said it many times before, I love dystopian books, but recently, you know, we have a resurgence of the dystopian era with the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes movie coming out, and so my feed has just been lots of Hunger Games and dystopian things. And I saw one that was like, a lot of the books during this era were just trying to recreate the Hunger Games, and so they're not as good as the Hunger Games, which is true. And I rated this one a 3 stars. I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. I think there are 2 more books in the trilogy. Will I read them? Not right now. I don't really have any burning desire to read them. It wasn't a bad book. I can 100%, I am a firm believer that there are some things that you have to have like read them or seen them in the time that they came out in order to like really enjoy them, and that there are some things that if you just like, if you watch or read them later in life, you just don't enjoy them as much as you would have if you were in their, if you had consumed them in when you were in their target audience age. And so I have a feeling if I read this book in the time when it was originally published, I would have liked it more than I did now. But I didn't. And, you know, after I saw that post where it was like, every dystopian book is just trying to recreate the Hunger Games, that has definitely affected the way that I am feeling about books when I'm reading them, if they are in a dystopian society. So anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, day 3 of Bookmas. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling up to it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.